Many times when I've started to work with a new client and hop in their account to do the audit, I many times have actually found that a lot of people have been using the wrong format or not the most optimal format for what they're trying to sell. And in some cases, all we really had to do to improve the results drastically has just been to switch the format into a more optimal format. So in some cases, that's been from a carousel to video, from video to image, etc. So in this video, what I'm going to do is to explain when and how to use the different formats. So image, carousel, or video. I'm not going to touch on the collection format because we don't really use that. So by the end of this video, you should have a way better understanding of which format you should use yourself and how you can use it properly to get really good results and get a high return on ad spend. But before that, just a quick introduction to who I am and why you should listen to me. So my name is Ola. I run Strand Media, and I've been working with different businesses all over the world for the last 6 years, helping them improve the results with Facebook ads. So working with clients in the US, Australia, Europe, Scandinavia, even Asia. So really have a lot of expertise, been managing total probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend in total. So I have a lot of data, a lot of experience. And on this YouTube channel, I simply just document what I'm finding is working well and how I'm using it, and then sharing that knowledge with you guys. So if you want to see more stuff like this, you should definitely subscribe. Now for the carousel and the video format, I actually want to show you a little case study because I think it's easier for you to actually learn by me showing that, and it's also more interesting. So as you can see now, I'm in one of my clients' ad accounts, and this is one carousel ad that this client were running before we started working with them. And I thought it was pretty creative and a nice way to put together a carousel. So as you can see here, this carousel is put together in a certain order. So it's not dynamic, it's a specific order it will be shown in every time. And the reason for that is obviously because this client wants to communicate in a specific way. So it will kind of tell a story with each slide in a specific order. So as you can see here, you can pause this video and read if you want to, but it's showing the different features and benefits of this product, and then it shows the offer, and then it has some more convincing in it, and then a video actually. So a really creative way of putting together a carousel, and this carousel right here was one of the best working ads for them when we started working with them. And what we did, we broke down the carousel to see which of the carousel cards are actually having the biggest impact. So which of them are getting the most amount of clicks. So what we found was that this carousel card with the video was actually working the best or getting the most amount of clicks. So what we did, we ran a new test where we ran this video as a video ad instead. So not a carousel, we just ran with this video, and we got really good results with that as well. So as you can see, this is the test that we launched. So we added some new text as well. So that video actually got some pretty good results as well. And that to me tells me that the video format is something that could be working really well. So I thought we should do some more testing on video. So what we did, we made them send the product to us, and then our creative team put together a video, and we made it shorter, and we tried to communicate more effectively the different benefits and features of the product, and also getting to the call to action with the offer quicker. And what it resulted on was this video right here, and this one actually got a lot better results than any of the other ads that this client was running at the time. So this is currently the absolute best ad that we're running in this account. And as you can see, let me just break this down. You can see here we have a scroll stopper that calls out our target audience. So the first thing that we have is why every home need one of these, and then we show the product, right? And then we just simply show how to install it, that it senses motion instantly and all that kind of stuff, different scenarios of where you can use the product, and then we get to the offer and the call to action pretty quickly. So this is just one example of why it's really important to also test out different formats. And if you see that one format can work well, make sure you hone in on it and optimize it further. Because it's not just about the format, it's obviously about how you use the format and how well you've optimized the creative, so either the video, the carousel, or the image. So let's get right into it. So how do you choose the optimal format for your Facebook ad campaign? So the first thing I would do to figure this out is to just look at your historic data if you have any. So if you've been running campaigns in the past, you should definitely use that data to figure out which format has been working the best and which you should continue to focus on and hone down on. So if you've been running tests in the past where you've been trying out different formats, so image, video, carousel, and you have some data on that, make sure that you look at that data and see if there's anything there that you can take into account and maybe do another test or retest on new formats that you haven't been running for a while. So this is something that we a lot of times find when I do audits for my clients, is that we, in the past or before they started working with us, they've been running with, let's say, image, and they've gotten some decent results, but since then they've only been doing video. Like at the current time I'm looking at the data, the video is doing pretty close to results that they got with image at the time. So in that case, sometimes what we've done is like we run another test to see if we put a lot more effort and use all the data and all the knowledge that we have gathered since then to retest a new format or a format that they've been trying in the past. Then we see that we can actually get really good results for that format, even though the results weren't that convincing the first time the test was ran. So make sure you look at your historic data, look at all the formats that you've been testing in the past, and see if it makes sense to do another test. And another thing to take into account is if you didn't put a lot of effort in, or if the effort that you put into the test that you ran at the time were pretty low compared to what you would do today. So let's say you now have a better understanding of your target audience, you have a better understanding of what works, maybe you have hired a new video editor or a new graphic designer. Maybe if you ran the same test that you ran in the past again, you would be able to create a lot more high quality creatives or images and designs that you could use as an image format. Now the next thing you can do is actually do some research. So first thing you could research is your competitors. If you have any competitors that are solving the same problem as you or selling the same or similar product, make sure you go onto their Facebook page and you can actually scroll down and go to page transparency and go into ads library, and there you can see all of the active ads that they're running. If you then see that they have a specific format, let's say a video that they've been running with for a long time, then it could make sense for you to actually go ahead and try video as well. And you can see how they're doing it, and maybe you can put your own angle or spin on it and do a test. Now another type of research you could do is just make sure that you have a look at what people in your same space, in your same industry are doing on social and what's working. So as an example, I'm running a Facebook ads agency, and pretty often I get ads from other agencies, not because I'm looking for an agency, but just every time I get one ad, I usually click on it or look into it just because I want to see what they're doing and kind of update myself on what's working for them. So you can do the same thing. You can simply just train the algorithm to show you ads from your competitors or from other brands or businesses within your same industry, and that's a really great way to actually stay on top of what's working and get some inspiration to things you can test, formats and creative ideas. So because we do manage a lot of different accounts for a lot of different businesses, we do have a lot of data on this, so I just want to share that with you and hopefully that can be helpful. So in terms of what format to use, this is what our data is telling us. So if you have a simple and strong offer, usually what we see is that a simple format is working the best. So I'm going to show an example of this. So as you can see here, this is an example of what I would call a simple and a strong offer. So I just made like an example offer here. So this is like a dog subscription product where you get like dog treats and stuff in a subscription box, and you get the first box for free. So anytime you can give something away for free, that's usually a really, really strong offer. And also you can simply see what it includes just with an image. So because the offer is so strong and the product is so simple, for this type of product right here, or this type of offer, generally I would say that an image is going to work the best. And also the reason why I'm showing you this example and why I put together this example ad right here is because it's very similar to two of the accounts that we manage. Unfortunately, I can't really show you exactly the ads that we're running with the results, and that's because we have an NDA signed with them and they don't really want us to show all the data that we have from them, unfortunately. But so this is an example of what we're running. So just to give you an idea here of why it's working so well, it's because, as I said, it's a really strong offer, and you can simply understand the offer with just a simple image like this. But if you have a slightly more complex offer, maybe a product that needs to be explained because it has a few more benefits and features to it, and it's a bit hard to explain all of that with just one image ad, then what we generally see is that a short video or even a carousel is going to work better than just an image. So also here I want to give you an example of what I mean. So I just came up with this example product. So let's say you're selling a mindset journal, right? And a journal is could be many things. So this journal has some unique features to it, and explaining all of those features would be hard to do with just one image. So in this example right here, you can see I put together like a carousel example of how you can explain and effectively communicate the different features and benefits of this product and this offer. So as you can see, if you were going to put all of this in one image, it would be quite hard. That's why this example right here, a carousel, is really good to use. So as you can see, we have the offer in the main carousel card right here, and then we have some features. So let's say the journal has a new focus every day with quotes. Each day you also get a daily meditation, and every day you get a daily challenge, like a personal challenge. So as you can see, this is a good way of how you can like put this in a carousel. So just be mindful that this is purely an example of like illustrating what I mean of how you can explain different features. This is not an ad I would ever run. I just simply made this really quickly just to illustrate for you guys. Now, if you sell a service or a product that's even more complex than this, it has more features and the offer is a bit hard to explain, even with a carousel, then what could work even better is a longer video. So if you use a longer video, or you can even use a carousel that can include a video, and this way you can explain the product in more detail. So you can include more information. So the thing you need to keep in mind is there is a cost associated with increasing the complexity of what you're trying to communicate with your ads. So if you have more things you want to communicate with, let's say, a video ad, and you have to make the video ad, let's say, 1 minute plus length, then you simply want to force people to watch the whole video, right? Because your call to action will probably be in the end of the video. So if you have to force people to watch the video all the way to the end, then something you need to keep in mind is that there's usually always a pretty high percentage of people that drops off, that don't watch the video to the end. And there's many reasons for that. Obviously, it's going to be a smaller percentage if you really have optimized the targeting and you have an offer that is compelling to a lot of people. But usually we always see that there's a pretty high drop-off rate. So if you really want to force people to watch the 1 minute video to the end, then the offer needs to be pretty high margin, probably high ticket, in order for it to make sense in terms of profitability, because you have to reach so many people, so many impressions, and there's going to be a cost associated with that. And then if the click-through rate on the ad is going to be pretty low, then you need to make up for that somehow, and usually that will be like a higher price point or a way higher margin. So with that in mind, if you can communicate the same benefits, the same features of your product in a quicker and more effective way, then you will have a higher percentage of people clicking through, and the return on ad spend and the overall results are going to be better. This is a good thing to be mindful of, so that you make sure you always communicate the value of your offer as effectively as possible. So now I'm inside my example ad account, and I'm just going to show you how I personally use the image format and the best ways that I found to use it. So as you can see, the way I've set it up is a 1:1 format. So 1:1 length, and that is just because that's the best format to get the most amount of real estate on the newsfeed on Facebook and Instagram. And as you also can see, I've not optimized the placement for stories or horizontal placements. So as you can see, I'm using the 1:1 on all the different placements. The reason for that is I've not really seen any cases for image where optimizing for these different formats have been beneficial in terms of results. Only for video is where I've seen this. So I don't take time to really optimize, but you can definitely do that if you want to, and if you want to make it look a certain way on these other placements as well. I just generally always just run with the 1:1 format. So as you can see, Facebook also makes it fit into these other formats as well anyways. So yeah, as you can see here, they will just fill it in, and we've never seen any issues with running it like this. So that's how I would set it up, and I would definitely test a lot of different images. The one of the benefits, if image is the thing that's working the best for you, is that it's easy to create. You can easily create like a bunch of different images and test them out. If you compare it to like a carousel or video, they take more time and more effort to set up. But with image, it's easier to make a lot of different variations. So that's really great. So if you're testing image, make sure you test a bunch of different variations. So in terms of what you should include in the image, this is pretty much up to you, but in general, what we're seeing working the best is to actually include a bit of text on the image itself. So as you can see here, this is an example ad. I've not been running this ad, but just to show you how I would set it up. So we have one headline and a sub-headline, but I wouldn't put more text than that. That's because you want to make sure that as soon as people see the ad, it's easy to understand and it's not overwhelming. The point of using an image format is that you want to be really effective of how quickly you communicate the value of your offer. So if you have a bunch of different elements within your image, that is going to add complexity to it, and it's more likely people will not understand it and just scroll right past it. So make sure you keep that in mind. Keep it really easy to understand, and make sure that if somebody watches it, they can understand what it is within like a split second. Now when you scroll down here, you will see that you can select the Advantage plus Creative. So most of the time we do allow most of these optimizations, but as you can see, text improvements, this is something that we sometimes turn off. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that the primary text in the headline is not switching up, because that's going to make the ad not make sense anymore. So just keep in mind that if you allow this one to be ticked on, Facebook can switch the order of where your text appears, and if the primary text appears on the headline or some other combination, make sure that it still makes sense. For us, a lot of the times it doesn't make sense if we switch up the placement of the text on the ad. So keep that in mind. You can turn this one off. But other than that, we generally allow most of these to be ticked on. So just to summarize what I've been talking about in this video, format is a huge lever and something you should definitely look into. If you've been sticking to one format for a long time, it might be time to test a new one. And in order to figure out which format to try out, make sure you look at your historic data, do some research on your competitors or other people within your space. And third thing you can do is use the data that we have. So if you have a really simple and really compelling and a strong offer, then you can try a really simple format just with an image. If you have a bit more complex offer or product, try out a short video or a carousel. And if your product or service is quite hard to explain, make sure you have a longer video or a more comprehensive carousel. There's always exceptions to this, and sometimes you can even maybe have great success with the long video if you have a product that is easy to understand and an offer that is really compelling. So just make sure that you always do your own testing and don't rely on other people's data fully. Always do your own tests. And if you do find that image works well for you, make sure you hone in on it and create a bunch of different creatives. That's one big lever that we found works really well, is if we have image working well for us, we can create a bunch of images really quickly. And one last thing to note is that video can always work regardless of what you're selling. There's no rules to this, there's always exceptions. So make sure that you do your own testing and your own research, because sometimes, you know, video or carousel can work well regardless of the complexity or how strong your offer is. So always do your own testing. I'm just sharing what our data is telling us. We're closing in on 2,000 subscribers, and hopefully we'll hit that pretty soon. So make sure you subscribe, because also there's a lot more content like this coming out. Make sure you also leave a comment if you have any questions. I will answer each and every comment personally in as much detail as possible. And if you want to sign up to my newsletter to make sure that you always get an email when I post a new video and get some more tips and insights, make sure you click the link in the description below to sign up there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.